So can you talk to us about how your organization is structured in Singapore and which are the markets that you cover, which are the funds from there, who is managing, Samir is managing what you, and then talk about your Indian outfit that you are setting up.
So we, out of Singapore, by the way, we raised money. We have feeders across, US and all. We used to raise money there and deploy it via Singapore. That's how it was. The most major market and the only market we cover out of Singapore is India and nothing else. Our focus and our love has always been India. In fact, Samir, when he used to tell everybody that. He says, though I'm in Singapore, but my heart is in India always. And though I'm managing emerging Asia, right, where India's weight at that point used to be around 7-8%, he says, but 70% of my time goes in India. I don't want to look at other markets. So that way, in fact, I also used to cover quite a few Asian markets and used to pick out only the best stocks in the other Asian countries and play the market like Samsung and Korea and stuff like that. I used to pick up those kind of names and play them. But India, I used to do pure, hardcore, bottom-up research and work that way. So that's what his dedication was. And even today, our money, whatever we raised, is mainly for India and it's only for India. We also have a global offshore fund, which is X of India, which invests in all of the markets except India. But that is only for friends and family, like employees, friends and family. And that fund is purely, if I may say so, it's bulk of it is US, some portion in Europe, some portion in China. But that's like a fairly close fund as such. It's not for public consumption. It's for that. So bulk of the money is India. So what we did further in 2011, actually 2010, ICICI Prudential had approached us to give them an advisory in one of the PMS offerings, right, which was called Star Alpha India Fund. So we became advisors to that fund in 2010 end and started deploying money in 11. From 11 to 19, we were the sole advisors to that fund, and that fund did phenomenally well, right? And we said, okay, this is something that we can do on our own. Why do we need a ICICI Pru to do it? Because ultimately, they're also going to other distributors to distribute that fund. So we said, why don't we start our own? So we applied for licenses and for PMS and AIF both in 19 and got our licenses subsequently in 20. So by March 20, we started our own domestic offering in PMS. That's what we did. We started with that. And then next year, we started the AIF, which was the first offering. There was a long only AIF that we started. And that's how the journey has been accomplished as such.
So talk about your Indian team. How many analysts and how's the investment structure? Like you have CIO or you continue to head, or how is Samir's intervention in the whole thought process? And we talk about your plan also, like you applied for mutual fund license. So these two things, if you
can. Sure, Vikas. So basically in India, I'm the CEO, CIO. Obviously, Samir is the mentor for everything, all the funds that we are offering. In fact, every morning we are on a call together and we discuss what to do with our. In fact, that's what he said, that we are lucky we started with a PMS. Though most of the managers don't like running a PMS product because it's a very complicated product. Each client has a separate, has to be holding a separate portfolio and stuff like that. But we said we are lucky if we had a PMS, because by default, every morning you buying a set of stocks for a client, right? And as a by default again, you have to analyze each stock every morning to say whether this is the right weight for this client who's coming in today. You may have made a lot of money for the first client who came in, right? But suppose you had bought 2% weight and that has become 5% because of the expansion in the value of the stock. Is it worth enough for the new guy coming in? If it is not, then you even trim for the old guy. So that every morning we have that kind of an argument or that kind of a discussion, and then that's how we go about. So mainly it's the three core gentlemen, rather four people who are at the core of this team are Samir, my colleague in Singapore, Alok, who's our head trader, then my head of research who sits here, Abhay, and myself. So the four of us together have roughly around 27, 28 years of experience each per head. So you can imagine that 110 years of experience sitting together and, talking what all things could be coming out as such. So that's the exciting part. Apart from that, we have a core team of some 4 analysts, and obviously we are adding a few more analysts to our team. In fact, we've already given our offers to 2 other analysts, and we're looking at 2 more to join in. and we're developing that core also going forward. And the criteria for our team is that you need a minimum 5-year experience to be a part of the team. Obviously, there'll be some juniors will be developed at a later stage as such. So that's how we're going about it. The operations, actually, the whole team out here today is around 27 odd people. 19 of them sit in Mumbai. 7 are spread across India. They're mainly the sales team as such. But we're also adding quite a few. In fact, I was checking with the admin guys before I came on the call. By Feb, we'll be roughly around, Feb end, we'll be roughly around another 37, 38 odd people. So that's how big the team will be, including the analysts and so on. So that's how it.
Great. I think those who are joining, especially on the fund management side, I would say that they would be lucky people because एक में 2 मिलेगा उनको पैकेज दिनशॉ जी के साथ काम करने का मौका और समीर जी के साथ में काम करने का मौका. So I think they want.
Sorry, because what I forgot to add was about the mutual fund. So we already have a in principle license received from SEBI. The parent received the license, which is Helios Singapore, and obviously since the subsidiary in India is Helios Capital India, so we'll be looking at implementing that license in the mutual fund format. But for that, we have to apply to SEBI for the final license, which we're in the process of doing. There are quite a few things that will be filled up before you go and apply for the final license. So I think we're another 5-6 months away before we can actually launch a scheme under the mutual fund as such. So that's where we are on the MF side.
Yeah, I want to read your mind, Dinshaw, is, so now you'll have mutual funds, you have PMS and AIF. And this question is a very common question that I keep getting. Which one you think, which instrument can be utilized more efficiently according to you and deliver the highest returns?
So our belief is it's mainly the AIF product which can be done. See, the PMS is a very good product, but it depends. Actually, our offerings are across the two. So PMS AIF more or less will be the same strategy that we are following in our long short fund. It'll be, and that has been around with us for the last 20 odd years, and that's why it's very close to our heart, and we can implement that. But PMS appeals to a certain set of investors, and that's mainly the guys who can hold the stocks in their own name, right? But AIF is a perfect vehicle for those who don't want their name to be tagged to a particular stock. So it's like akin to a mutual fund but for high HNIs, right? So that's how it is. In AIF, there's enough flexibility for the manager to churn the portfolio, to get a new stocks without even selling an old one, because there'll be some pool of money lying at some point in time and stuff. So that flexibility is there for the manager, which is not there in the PMS. In the mutual fund, it's gonna be, you need to be close to the index, right? Because you're appealing to the retail. You need to be along with the retail. Though we are looking at certain differentiated products, which I won't disclose on the call today because we are still in the process of formulation, and we'll probably surprise the market when we bring it out as such. So that's what we're trying to do here. But still, the manager's hands are tied to the extent of one highly regulated body, so he can't think too much outside the box. Plus, he has to be close to the index also. He has to give you the returns which are slightly better than the index, not to outperform, because you can underperform also to that extent. So in a mutual fund, that won't work. So I believe for a HNI, the best vehicle would be an AIF, then a PMS, and then probably a mutual fund or retail. That's how it should be.